What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA Sunday, January 31st. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, let's take a look at the point guard position. I like Kyrie Irving from the Brooklyn Nets playing the Washington Wizards, who have the third worst defense overall, and they give up the second most fantasy points to opposing point guards. Kyrie Irving has averaged 45.5 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 35 minutes per game with a 29% usage rate. He scored 45, 45, and 33 fantasy points in the last 3 games, projected at 46 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.9 times value. He's $9,300 FanDuel salary and the same price on DraftKings. Now, Vegas thinks there's going to be 244.5 points scored in this game, so that's a super high scoring game, a fast-paced game, a fantastic matchup. So I'm expecting Kyrie to get 50 fantasy points or more and get you 5 times value or more. So I like Kyrie Irving here versus the Washington Wizards. The other point guard that I like is Darius Garland from the Cleveland Cavaliers playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have the worst defense overall, and they give up the 4th most fantasy points to opposing point guards. Darius Garland has averaged 27.3 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 31 minutes per game with a 24% usage rate. He scored 31, 25, and 19 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 29, 31, and 25 minutes. He's projected at 25.1 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.8 times value. He's $5,200 FanDuel salary and $400 more on DraftKings. Vegas thinks there's going to be 219 points scored in this game, so I like Darius Garland here versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard position. I like Jeremy Lamb from the Indiana Pacers playing the Philadelphia 76ers, who have a good defense overall, and they have the absolute worst defense versus opposing shooting guards. Jeremy Lamb has averaged 24.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 25 minutes per game with a 21% usage rate. He scored 30, 14, and 34 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 30, 20, and 32 minutes. He's projected at 25.3 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.7 times value. He's $5,400 FanDuel salary and $200 less on DraftKings. So I like that DraftKings price. Vegas thinks there's going to be 224 points scored in this game. So I like Jeremy Lamb here versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, so I end up picking a few Cleveland Cavaliers here in this video, so that's why I want to give you a Minnesota Timberwolves player so you can run back your stack if you do decide to stack the Cleveland Cavaliers. There's really not much on the slate in terms of a Minnesota Timberwolves run back Maybe a guy like Ricky Rubio if D'Angelo Russell misses this game, but there hasn't been much production for the Minnesota Timberwolves, so I like Anthony Edwards from the Minnesota Timberwolves playing the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they're middle-of-the-pack defending opposing shooting guards. Anthony Edwards has averaged 19.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 25 minutes per game with a 27% usage rate. He scored 23, 39, and 21 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 28, 32, and 27 minutes. He's projected at 23.2 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.7 times value. He's 4,900 FanDuel salary and 400 more on DraftKings. So I like Anthony Edwards here versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay, let's take a look at the small forward position. I like Tobias Harris from the Philadelphia 76ers playing the Indiana Pacers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the 9th most fantasy points to opposing small forwards. Tobias Harris has averaged 35.9 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 24% usage rate. He scored 43, 37, and 35 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 34, 36, and 29 minutes. He's projected at 36.8 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.2 times value. He's 7,100 FanDuel salary and 100 more on DraftKings. Vegas thinks there's going to be 224 points scored in this game, so I like Tobias Harris here versus the Indiana Pacers. Okay, let's take a look at the power forward position. I like Jarrett Allen from the Cleveland Cavaliers playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have the absolute worst defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. Jarrett Allen has averaged 29.6 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 26 minutes per game with a 16% usage rate. He scored 35, 19, and 16 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 25, 19, and 28 minutes. He's projected at 28.3 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.9 times value. He's 5,800 FanDuel salary and 400 less on DraftKings. So I like that DraftKings price. So he's got a fantastic matchup here. He's got a low floor, but he's got a high ceiling. So I like Jarrett Allen here versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay, moving on to the center position. Another Cleveland Cavalier for you. I like Andre Drummond from the Cleveland Cavaliers playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have the absolute worst defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing centers. Andre Drummond has averaged 45.5 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 30 minutes per game with a 32% usage rate. He scored 35, 62, and 45 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 23, 28, and 28 minutes. He's projected at 41.8 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.6 times value. He's 9,000 FanDuel salary, but he's 600 less on DraftKings. So this is more of a DraftKings play for me. Fantastic matchup. He only played 23 minutes last game, so he should get plenty of run here tonight. So I like Andre Drummond here versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.